Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Star Flames. In this video, we're going to talk about Pete Davidson and his girlfriend, Chesui Wonders, have called it quits. And is Pete sending out a bad signal to Kim Kardashian? And will Kim Kardashian ever look at Pete ever again in an intimate manner? Let's talk about it. Now, it's been reported that Chesui and Pete Davidson relationship has ended. Now, what I found important was the fact that there's a need to push, Pete and Chesui Wonders ending their relationship in a good place. So immediately, when you hear that, one can only think that, Pete is saying there's no bad blood between him and Chesui. It's just that they've decided to call it quits. Now, I believe that after Pete dated Kim and Kim tried to portray, Pete as this amazing guy, but it really did not work for long because you would think that after everything between Kim and Ye, after being with that man for more than a decade, Kim would be talking good about the father of her 4 kids. She did not do that. She portrayed Ye to be a nemesis, the next O.J. Simpson, and made the world believe that Ye was the one who was triggering Pete's mental health. But the reality is, we later found out that it was Kim, the nemesis, who was doing that when Pete had that meltdown on the set of Bupkis because Kim was consistently using him as a PR stunt. She would use subliminals like the Elsa candle to portray the sense that, Pete is still sending her gift. At the time that Kim was doing that, Pete was quietly dating Chesui because they met on the set of Body Bodies and they clicked immediately. Even producers said they loved the chemistry between Pete and Chesui Wonders. So when Pete was moving on with his life, Kim was practically holding Pete back in a digital sense. She started using Pete, typical Kim style, saying that Pete is just the sweetest. He's a cutie. If you guys remember, this is not the media making up stuff. It was the interview that Kim did with Nylon Magazine, where she had that American flag draped over her buttocks. So while people can rush to Kim's defense to say, not everything the media says is Kim, honey, baby, if you've been paying attention, we know that not everything the media says is Kim, but a significant portion of what is being pushed and promoted definitely has something to do with their PR stunts. But I can see for the American Magazine that was coming from Kim, because Kim said during the interview, Pete is a cutie, he's just the sweetest, and Pete does not appreciate the manner in which Ye speaks to her Kim. But no one was asking, how did Pete reach in the center of a relationship that was almost older than him, Pete? How did Pete get into the center of that, much less to be having a say in that? So after Kim said all of that, what we could see is Pete basically consistently spiraling. So we saw Kim, putting down Ye, the father of her 4 kids, labeling him as a nemesis. But as time passes, what we could have observed is that everything that Kim has been telling the media about Ye, that was actually Pete and not Ye, because Pete folded a TV in half on the set of Bupkis. He threw something through his trailer window, damaging a car that was parked on the outside. He caused numerous damages. But when Pete did that, it was not highlighted or promoted by the media because their intent was to cover up Pete's actions as much as they could have. But when Kim accused Ye of having that type of personality, it was welcome, it was highlighted, and it was promoted. But Ye has never displayed any of the behaviors that Kim had accused him of. But rather, we see Pete displaying all of that behavior that Kim accused Ye of. Kim also further accused Ye of causing Pete a mental breakdown. But what we observe is Pete checking himself into a rehabilitation center after he separated from Kim. So, what is all of this saying? It is now saying that Kim has been very much humiliated because every time, as I've said, every time Kim opens her mouth, she puts her foot in it. She tried to paint Ye as the nemesis, but the nemesis actually turned out to be Pete. And when it was Pete who had displayed strongly that not only is he a nemesis, also a narcissist, Kim didn't speak on it. The media didn't promote it. It was just spoken about, and then that was it. It was covered up, never to be heard from again. While when Ye was fighting for his family, he was called a nemesis. So that shows you that there's always been an intent to tarnish Ye's image and his reputation. Now, Pete is now single, and many people believe that this is a open door opportunity for Kim and Pete to practically get back together, get back to dating. But Kim is not going to look at Pete because at this point, in Kim's eyes, to Kim's brand, Pete is damaged goods. No, I'm not saying that as an individual, I personally see Pete as damaged goods. No, we know that everything that has to do with Kim is all about image. And before Kim dated Pete, Pete was seen just as a sweet guy in Hollywood, plagued by a few problems. Everyone has problems. Pete has bipolar, but he was doing okay. He had challenges, and those challenges were never anything that was highlighted or brought to the forefront. They were always in his background, so only Pete and his close friends and family actually saw him going through those, and Pete has always known to get the help that he needed. But the moment that Pete dated Kim Kardashian, what Kim did, Kim displayed Pete in such a poor manner that it took away from Pete's image. It actually did, and it took away from Pete's value. Because if you compare how Pete was portrayed while he was dating Emily, Ariana Grande, or any of the older women that he dated, Pete has never ever looked cheap in the public's eyes when he was dating those women. But the moment that he started dating Kim, what we saw is a woman, and this is how you know that Kim is a very dangerous human being and one that people, men, should be very calculated about if they choose to date her, right? My reason for saying this is because how do you not love someone, but you're on the internet making out with that person that you just know in order to cause your soon-to-be ex-husband that you told us is mentally unstable. You told us that your ex-husband, your soon-to-be ex-husband, was on a ledge. So she knows that Ye was on a ledge, and she knew what could have pushed him off that ledge and ruined him for good, right? And that was his daughter. So Kim took every opportunity that she saw available to use Pete, weaponize Pete, so that Ye would actually jump off that ledge. But Kim didn't know that she's not God. She's not the creator. She is not in control as she believes, because God had a greater plan for Ye, one that did not involve Kim. So when Kim thought that her actions with Pete would have pushed Ye over the ledge, God said, you know what? I'm going to let all of this backfire and explode in your face. And it did exactly that. Because after Kim dated Pete, Pete's value has drastically decreased. Every single layer about Pete has been now exposed. And while the media tried to cover Pete's image as much as possible, and let's keep it real, it is because Pete is on the lighter, brighter side. Oftentimes, people may think that race has nothing to do with it. Sometimes it definitely does, because if that was Ye, or if that was another black man, that man would be painted as the next angry black man, right? Even though they may have similar health conditions, that would never be looked at. Do you remember when Ari Emanuel told the media not to use Ye's mental health as an excuse because Ye is just a damn clown? But when it came to Pete, Pete's mental health was used as an excuse, and Pete was never classified as a damn clown. So it goes to show you that at the end of the day, color does play a significant role of how an individual is being portrayed in some cases, not all cases, right? So, as I was saying, God had a plan. Kim could not see that plan. So Kim's, genius plan exploded in her face, because after dating Pete, Kim becomes the most undateable woman in America. No one wanted Kim, because what Kim did, Kim took everyone back to the memory of the trashy-like behavior that she had before marrying Ye. The girl that used to run around in the industry with the game, Nick Cannon, Ray J, just to name a few. So everyone remember that girl with a sex tape. She was no longer looked at as Ye's wife, who he worships and put on a pedestal. Also, many people realize that Pete is cheap. Pete can be bought. Pete had a price. And it was really shocking for many people to see Pete portraying himself as though he was Kim's puppet. Many women were disgusted. They were turned off by it when they saw Pete just struggling and, being treated as a dog on the leash by Kim. And then later, she still kept on monetizing him until he had that meltdown and said that he wanted Kim to just leave him the hell alone. They haven't been communicating. He doesn't care about what goes on between Kim and Ye. So, based on all those occurrences, and based on the fact that ever since Kim and Pete has dated, Pete has seen in his worst that, according to reports, his friends has ever seen him in, it shows that Kim's actions did have a major role to play in Pete's meltdown. And that is why Pete had the meltdown. And he sent a strong message to Kim to stop using his name. And immediately after that, Kim stopped using Pete's name. So, even though Pete is single again, even though people are hoping that, Kim and Pete may get back together, Kim is bad for Pete's health. Kim has helped to ruin Pete's image and reputation, and Pete definitely made Kim one of the most undateable women in America. But guys, I want to hear from you. Let me know what are your thoughts. And while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up, share if you care, and see you all next time. Bye guys.